Today we will make a crispy, multi-layered moon baklava. First, for the syrup, we will boil 1 liter of water, 1 kilogram of granulated sugar, and the juice of half a lemon in a medium-sized pot. For the dough, we will mix 2 eggs, 75 grams of melted butter, half a cup of vegetable oil, 1 cup of yogurt, 1 packet of baking powder, 1 tablespoon of vinegar, half a spoon of lemon juice, and a pinch of salt to knead a soft dough. I will use 750 grams of wheat starch for rolling. To shape the dough, I will use a stainless steel cup, and for baking, I prefer an aluminum baking tray. For the filling, we will use 250 to 300 grams of walnuts and pour 250 grams of melted butter mixed with 1.5 cups of vegetable oil over the layers. Now, let's start our recipe. After the dough has rested, we begin carefully rolling out each piece by sprinkling a generous amount of cornstarch over it and on a large surface. When rolling out the dough, we avoid applying too much pressure and gently expand it. It's very important to roll the dough evenly, so we turn it frequently and roll it in different directions. This process helps evenly stretch the dough in all directions. Additionally, sprinkling cornstarch between each layer prevents the sheets from sticking together and makes the rolling process much easier. This way, each layer of dough forms a small protective layer. Another thing to pay attention to when rolling out the dough is preventing thickness from forming at the edges. To do this, while rolling, you can gently pull the edges inward to create a more even surface. This way, each layer of baklava will be more uniform, and each sheet will be thinner. There's no need to roll the dough too thin, but it should be thin and wide enough for the baklava to turn out crispy. It's important to be gentle while using the rolling pin to avoid tearing the dough. During this stage, it's essential to avoid pressing too hard on the edges, as this could cause the dough to tear. While rolling out the dough, we ensure that we sprinkle enough cornstarch between each layer to prevent them from sticking together. This step makes the process much easier, especially when rolling out multiple layers. If any areas become too thick or thin, we can rotate and adjust the dough, making sure it's rolled evenly throughout. This way, the dough will have an even thickness and width. At the same time, by adjusting the thicker or thinner parts of the dough, we ensure that the final layers are smooth and even. When rolling out the dough, we must be careful and gentle. The crispiness and texture of the baklava are directly related to how thin the dough is rolled out. By rolling out each rested piece of dough carefully, we achieve thin sheets of dough that are large enough. The thinness of the dough is one of the key factors that will make the baklava crispy and delicious. Once the dough is rolled out, it's time to add the filling. For this recipe, we use crushed walnuts, but you can also substitute them with pistachios, hazelnuts, or almonds, depending on your preference. If you want a richer flavor, a mix of different nuts can be used. Spread the crushed nuts evenly over the dough, ensuring that they cover the surface but don't spill over the edges. Next, fold the dough to create a layered effect. To do this, gently fold one side of the dough towards the center, making sure it overlaps slightly with the nuts. Then fold the other side the same way, again ensuring they meet in the middle. This will form a long, narrow strip of dough. Once folded, roll the dough carefully into a log shape. For shaping the baklava, one option is to cut the dough into half-moon or crescent shapes. To achieve this, use a round glass or a cup to create even-sized pieces, and then cut each piece into a crescent shape. Another common shape for baklava is the diamond shape, where you roll the dough and then cut it into small pieces at an angle. Alternatively, you can also line the dough in the baking pan, layer by layer, and cut the rolled dough into strips or squares. This method allows the baklava to bake more evenly, with all of the layers clearly defined. After shaping, the pieces are placed in the baking pan, ensuring that they're snug but not too tight, to allow the layers to expand and puff up during baking. The key to achieving the perfect baklava is to ensure each piece has the right balance of flaky, crispy layers and a generous amount of filling. Don't forget to support our channel, friends. Watch the videos from start to finish, give them a like, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell. Also, share the videos with your friends who comment. Later, you can play these videos on your computer while sleeping, letting them run from start to finish. Thank you in advance for your support. Once you've shaped your baklava, it's time to arrange them in the baking tray. Be sure not to place them too tightly together. Leaving a little space between each piece ensures that the heat circulates properly during baking, allowing every layer to crisp up and brown evenly. For the finishing touch, melt margarine and pour it evenly over the baklava, making sure every piece gets coated. This will give them a beautiful golden color and extra crispiness as they bake. First, let's prepare the syrup. Combine 1 kilogram of sugar with 1 liter of water in a pot. Bring it to a boil while stirring occasionally. Once it's boiling, let it simmer for 30 to 35 minutes. Add a splash of lemon juice towards the end and continue simmering until the syrup thickens to a consistency that's slightly runnier than honey. Don't let the syrup cool. It should be added to the baklava while it's still hot. While the syrup simmers, it's time to focus on baking the baklava. Place the assembled baklava in a preheated 180 degrees Celsius, 350 degrees Fahrenheit oven. You don't need to worry about preheating the oven in advance. Just pop the tray in when you're ready to bake. Keep a close eye on it. This is crucial. Bake for about 30 minutes. Depending on your oven, the timing may vary, so check it periodically. In some cases, you might need to turn the tray to ensure even cooking, as this helps the baklava brown evenly and become crispy all around. After the baklava is golden and crispy, remove it from the oven. Now, here's a trick I use to ensure the bottom of the baklava gets as crispy as the top. Place the baking tray on the stove over medium heat and gently rotate it, allowing the heat to brown the underside of the baklava. This will give it an extra crunchy texture. Now, it's time for the syrup. Since the syrup is still hot from earlier, pour it generously over the baklava while it's still piping hot. You'll hear a satisfying sizzling sound as it absorbs the syrup. This step ensures the syrup infuses every layer of the baklava perfectly, making it incredibly flavorful and crispy. Let the baklava sit for a while to cool down. Once it's cooled, you can decorate the top with a sprinkling of crushed pistachios, shredded coconut, or extra crushed walnuts, whatever you prefer. The choice is yours. Finally, when tasting your baklava, you'll realize just how easy and delicious this recipe is. It's a great treat that anyone can make with minimal effort and incredible results. If you're enjoying this recipe and the content on my channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you won't miss out on my upcoming educational videos. Your support means the world to me. I'm always striving to create helpful and easy to follow cooking guides, and I'll continue to do so for all of you. This version includes the adjustments about the syrup staying hot, no need to preheat the oven, and the turning of the tray. Let me know if you need any more changes.